Episode 105. Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because #ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. Are you eager to get unstuck and figure out what you would actually like to do with your career next? Have you been going around in circles trying to figure it out but getting no further forward? If so, you're going to love today's sponsor, my signature group program, the Career Clarity Academy. Changing career direction can feel overwhelming and daunting, but it doesn't have to be. In my signature program, we give you clear, step-by-step, proven processes for getting completely clear on what it is that you want to do and understanding how you can leverage your existing experience and position yourself to attract and land a dream role. To find out more, head over to lightboxcoaching.com/academy. We all know we're going through a global pandemic, and when it comes to jobs and people feeling like they may be let go or they're being furloughed or this is a great time for them to change career direction, after thinking those things, people then come to the question, well, what next? What will I do? And what I recognize from speaking to people and getting feedback from clients and potential clients is one of the things that holds people back is what would I even do? So people say, I've started thinking about what I might do. I've got a vague idea of what I might do, but then I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure that is what I want to do. I'm not sure whether I want to make the move. And then they kind of stay in that area for a while, or for some a very long time, and then aren't able to move forward. So tonight I wanted to share with you why kind of just jumping in and brainstorming potential career options might not be the thing that's going to help you to get to where you want to go, might not be the thing to get you the clarity that you need so that you can move forward. So what often happens is people will say, okay, I don't want to do what I'm doing now, so I need to think about what else I would do. And then they start just thinking about different potential career options. So, getting a piece of paper out, brainstorming what these options might be, and that's where they start. But the problem with that is that sometimes doing that, you're doing it with no proper frame of reference. You may well just be writing down those things that you think sound like a good role just because you've seen someone do it from the outside, or you've kind of heard about what that role sounds like and it sounds good to you, but that's it. There's no further detail or information around what that role entails, or even you haven't done the work to understand whether or not that role would be a right fit for you. So when I think about this kind of thing, it always reminds me of kind of how I moved into my career as a lawyer and how I started on my journey and started pursuing that. I decided when I was about 8 years old that I wanted to be a lawyer, and that was really based on my mum feeding back to me that I was quite argumentative as a child and I always had an answer for everything, and so she said you should be a lawyer. So I kind of ran with that and I started watching law related programs, so Ally McBeal and Law and Order, and I literally based my decision on pursuing my legal career on what I saw in those programs. I saw those programs, they made being a lawyer look really glamorous and exciting, and so I decided that was what I was going to do. And I followed the long path to become a lawyer. And it wasn't until I qualified and actually started doing the work that I realized that my expectation and the reality of the role were definitely mismatched, because I had based what I thought the role was going to be on and what the role was going to be about and what was going to be involved on watching those programs. And I think there's a lot of people who make decisions about their careers and the career direction at a really early age. Like for many people, it might be as young as 8. And for a lot of people, it's in those teenage years where you're doing your A levels and you have to decide what path you're going to take. You make decisions at a young age where you might not actually have all of the information that you need to understand what you're getting yourself into, to understand what that industry is about, to understand what the role actually looks like on a day-to-day basis. And I think that that's part of the reason why there's a lot of people who are in roles that they have worked really hard to get into, who have worked their way up in a particular industry, but they're finding themselves feeling unfulfilled. They're finding themselves feeling stuck. But then they're in a position where it's like, well, I've spent a long time trying to get here and I don't really know why it is I don't feel good about what it is that I'm doing, but I just know that it doesn't feel right. And oftentimes it's because decisions are being made because of, there's only part of the puzzle that's filled in terms of knowing that this is the right role for you. And so the thing that I want to encourage you to do, if this is you, if you are saying, I need to find something else to do, but I don't know what, and I'm just going to start thinking about what roles sound good, I want you to take a step back and start to focus less on the external and start to focus on the internal. Because what we do is we jump into the marketplace and we're rushing to go and see, okay, what's out there, what's available. But what is most effective is to slow down so that you can speed up. And what I mean by that is slow down and really take the time to understand yourself. Instead of saying, okay, I want to move from this role and I want to go into something else and trying to brainstorm what that looks like, do some reflection and understand, why is it that I don't want to do what I'm doing now? What is it about the role that I'm doing now that isn't serving me anymore? Why is it that I want to move on? Because when you start drilling into the why and the reasons, that can give you some much better clues as to what the next role needs to look like. So instead of just saying, oh, this sounds good, this sounds good, this sounds like it's similar to my experience and I can probably transition quite easily, you're saying, okay, what is it about the role that I'm doing now that isn't working for me? What is it about the role that isn't really aligned to me as a person, to my values, to what's important to me? And then that can give you a much better steer as to what type of role you want to move into in the future, so that you don't just end up jumping from role to role to role and still feeling like this isn't a good fit for me. I worked with a client over a year ago now, and she was feeling stuck in a role that she'd been in for 16 years and she didn't really know what she wanted to do next. And when we dug in and she got really clear on what it was about the role that she didn't want to do, it made it far easier for her to find a role that was a good fit. And so she managed to figure that out and then make a transition. But in the beginning, she was really feeling stuck. Like she didn't know where it was she was supposed to go. And she was kind of just, I guess, kind of throw spaghetti what's the phrase? Spaghetti at the wall, as they say, where you're just like, just try different things and see what will stick. Instead of doing that, the process that she went through to get really clear on what she wanted to move away from helped her in narrowing down what she wanted to move towards. So that's really what I want to encourage you to do. Slow down, take that time, because that's going to make your job search in the long run so much easier, and it can be so much more focused. And this is a perfect time to do it, right? We are in lockdown. People are starting to go a bit stir crazy in terms of having all the time on their hands that they didn't used to have. Or some people, I feel like as a parent, I'm a parent, I don't feel like I have more time on my hands. I feel like it's just more of the same time and trying to figure out what to do with my children to keep them occupied. But yeah, now is a great time. So if you are in that phase of saying, right, I need to shift focus, I want to find a new role, I want to do something different, then spend the time to really reflect on you, what your career history has been like before, where you've been in the past, what is it that you want to move away from. That can really help you to be more focused in terms of where you should be going next, instead of just getting a big piece of paper and just starting to jot down ideas that you might have. One of the other things to note as well is there are roles out there that you don't even know exist right now. There are new roles that never existed like 5 years ago, that didn't exist 2 years ago, because of the way technology is moving, because of the way companies are developing. If you think of AI and different initiatives and things that are being brought in, there's lots of different opportunities that are out there that you might not even know exist that could be a perfect fit for you. So before you just say, okay, I'm going to note down things that I know, just start with understanding what is important to you, because later on that can help you to really uncover what is out there that could be an absolute perfect fit. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Career Changemaker podcast. If you have enjoyed what you've heard today, then head over to iTunes or wherever it is that you listen to podcasts and leave us a rating and review. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can hear when the next episode goes live. And if you like hanging out on Instagram, then I would love for you to tag me and let me know what you really thought about the episode over there at Career Changemaker. Until next time, keep working towards your career goals and we will speak very, very soon.